Yes, live and direct from Newcastle's infamous Bigg Market.
From where?
Infamous Bigg Market.
You went,
the Bigg Market. It's madness out there. I'm Felix. To my right, it's Dean Saunders. To my left, it's Anth Hepburn. And today, we are joined by Nathanial Valentino.
The only one.
Yes, mate. How are you?
I've Googled.
How are you?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. And how are you guys?
Yeah, how are you, Dean?
Well, I'm great. I've had my pasty, as we all saw. Yeah. I had Nando's taken off us.
Is that what that flaky bit is on your chin?
Go on, because I already checked. No, if there is a flaky bit, can you edit it out after? But I already checked. But yeah, had a lovely Greg's, lovely healthy meal. And
what time did you go to sleep last night?
What time did you go to sleep?
This morning.
Right, so I went to sleep at 6:30 this morning.
AM.
And the reason was I was being a great podcaster and I was doing my research, wasn't I? So I went through every episode, obviously fast forwarded to all the best bits.
Little old me.
And I made sure that I'd seen every second of yourself before we did today. So
excellent.
I've been doing my research, but I am very tired.
I appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. It was great crack, but I am very tired.
Is that the first time you've ever watched Married at First Sight in any of its iterations?
Yes, first ever.
And what, like, genuinely, what are your thoughts on it? Because it's coming from someone who's never seen it before. What was your? And I appreciate you only saw the highlights,
the best bits,
but what were your sort of thoughts on it as a concept for a show?
I mean, the concept is what the concept is. So, like, I think I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I wouldn't say I would always. No, I would watch it if I ever, like, I'm not into shows like that. Like, I've tried Love Island.
Just say how it is. You wouldn't watch it. No, like, come on. Just say how it is.
It's only because if you watch something like that, or like Love Island, or like Love Island, or I'm a Celebrity, you've got to, like, once I've started, I can't stop.
Yeah, you're hooked.
That's why if I know someone going in it, I've watched it. Like, that's the thing from, like, Love Island and I'm a Celeb and stuff like that. And I just hate it because I get hooked. And then once I start, I'm very
so emotionally drawn in.
Hooked.
Well, yeah. Do you know what? Am I going to go back and watch it all again?
You're gonna keep watching it, right?
Well, I'm gonna. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Can I still do what I did last night though? Fast forward, just watch the.
Isn't that what E4's for?
I do that anyway.
4OD.
Like I said, I do that when I rewatch the podcasts. When these two were talking, I just skip past. I'm joking, Ant. Why? You could have laughed there. You looked genuinely offended.
I didn't even get a chance to see anything before you went.
And how are you, mate?
I'm good.
You told me in the car on the way you weren't that great.
I've been a little bit ill, but I'm okay now. But yeah,
how ill?
Exactly what you want to hear when you sat next to him.
No, nothing like virusy. Nothing virusy. I've got colitis, so like I'll get like it's similar to Crohn's disease. Okay. So I got like up and down weeks, and last week was a bad one for us, which I'll blame on my stomach. But realistically, I just went absolutely fucky on the beers because a certain North East football team were playing Champions League football last week, and I got excited.
We haven't even asked that. Are you into your football?
I like football.
Have you ever met Jack Grealish?
Of course I have.
Yes, mate.
I'd imagine Jack Grealish in a nightclub with his shin pads on still. I feel like you just leave the pitch and just go straight there. Socks, shin pads straight on, beer in hand.
I love his chat about a Chinese. He says he gets like a full Chinese every Saturday after a match.
Proper brummy lad.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's ever showed anything else that he's a good guy.
So my girlfriend is originally from Coventry, and she thinks you're originally from Wolverhampton. How right or wrong is she?
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, we didn't even need the sound.
She's got to be so buzzing about that.
Originally from the outskirts.
Yeah.
Was brought up in a little village. Hated it. I think I was like, you get to that age where you're like, I'm fucking different from everyone else. What am I doing here?
Better is the word you...
I like to say different. you all know it means better. Cut that. I'm already getting hate out there, you know what I mean? Take me. So, I just felt there was more to life, so I just sort of...
moved?
Spread your wings.
Yeah, I went to uni, and then...
Where'd you go uni?
Manchester.
Okay.
No, sorry, I went to uni. Why am I lying to you?
I don't know. I'll believe anything you tell me, mate.
Manchester. I'm pro Manchester.
Yeah.
I'm a B. No, I went to Wolverhampton Uni.
Okay.
So I did sport and exercise science there.
Nice.
To be a physiotherapist.
Okay.
Oh. It's close to mine.
Yeah, Dean has got a BTEC in...
What's a BTEC?
Well, no, it's just because is it technically A levels?
It's an access course to university, isn't it?
Okay.
It's basically, I went to a college where it was like all the best footballers in the Northeast who weren't good enough to be footballers. So like basically all the, I mean,
footballers.
I'm not going to, because like a couple of them went on to make it pro. But a couple of them went on to make it pro, obviously. But like we went to that course, so I did that for a few years. But then I started the events business. So obviously it got to the point where I'd done like the first 2 years of the event business. I'd been doing the BTEC. And then the events started to take off more and more, and I was like, I don't have time to go to uni every day, and I was only going to uni.
Did you finish your college course, or?
Well, by the way, I'm going to get a rinsed for saying uni, but it technically was Sunderland Uni course at Gateshead College.
Was it at a college?
Yeah, it was. It was a uni course, I think, because a couple of the guys did the 2 years, and then they go on to do the third year at
Access
the actual
course.
uni.
But surely, if you haven't been signed in the first 2 years, why would you do the third year?
Oh,
So
no,
you don't
this
have
is
to get a
after.
job.
So from 16 to 18, no, from 16 to 19, you did the scholarship course.
Yeah.
Then after that, you did the 2 years, because obviously at 19 I started persistence. So then at 19, I started the BTEC.
Yeah, but you're saying there it's
I'd
about
given up on
people,
football by then.
Obviously, people doing the course to become pro
That's
footballers,
the first
right?
3 years. I stayed on and did another 2 years after that.
So you were there
Just
for
holding on
5
to hope of
years?
that dream.
I'm still on, mate. Still might make it. Send Jack Grealish my number. Tell him if
Jack ever needs a
if Man
keeper.
City's first 100 goalkeepers get injured and they're really
You're
stuck,
there.
I'm there.
Did you get into promoting at Wolverhampton? Like, did you get into that scene?
So there was a club called Money Pennies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it was incredible. So I used to be a model. So I started modeling when I was 16, 17. And I did this show where you had to dance at the end.
Nice.
And the music director at the time, she saw me and was like, oh, we need you to come and dance for us. At this time, I was like, I know about dancing. But then I saw the lights, I saw the fame. I saw, like, it was going into this sort of a world where it was so different. It was like, I saw, like, it was like the sex of how people would dress. It was gender bending.
And that was like the funky house mecca, wasn't it?
yeah.
Like Miss Moneypennies.
Yeah, do you remember, do you remember, like, JD Thomas?
Yeah.
All these guys. So, yeah, I ended up being a dancer there. And
Amazing.
it was like I got, Birmingham's not that big and the scene's not big, so everyone started knowing me as like this Moneypennies dancer.
Okay.
So I was like the Mr. Moneypennies dancer, and then people wanted me to promote for them, do the doors for them, and then I
So is that how you kind of transitioned from like the Wolverhampton into the Birmingham vibes and the Birmingham scene?
Yeah,
and then we were talking about people we like sort of know, like Alex Schmidt,
these are the boys
Mickey Slim, and all that crew. So what were you promoting in Birmingham at that
So
kind of?
there was a party called B1,
Okay.
which was like a Friday night party where it was just full of reprobates, to tell you the truth.
Nice.
You know what I mean? All of us that liked to party.
That was my kind of place.
You went out on a Thursday, you need somewhere to go on the Friday
Course.
to sort of get back out for the Saturday. You know, it's just like a little nesting point.
Yeah.
A few hours that you weren't at someone's house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I think it took a lot of my years away though, and the deeper part. Like, I think I put up too many years into the partying scene and not sort of me. So, and that's why I'm a sort of a late bloomer now and doing everything now, I think.
I think, yeah, I mean, TV-wise, so how did that happen the very, very, very first time? What were you approached? What was the first thing that you did? Like,
First thing was I was invited down to Big Brother.
okay.
And I actually got on to Big Brother, did all the things, and
Was this in the Channel 4 heyday?
Yeah, the heydays,
Right.
yeah. And basically I didn't have a doctor's, and you need your medical history, so they were like calling me going, Nathaniel, your doctors haven't come back to you.
Right.
And because when you're out of a doctor, when you're a kid, you ain't got a clue. You're just like, I'm living life, I'm not ill, so you don't have to go to the doctors. So I went to my doctors and we're like, am I with you? They were like, nah, you haven't been to us for 6 years. I was like, that's not
Best customer ever, by
I was
the way.
like, I ain't been ill. Do you know what I mean? So that situation was dropped from me, and I was really gutted.
So, and did you send in, because you used to have to send in audition tapes?
They
No.
found me from a mixed magazine.
And this is like, I was going to say, this is pre-social media.
This was like, they found me through a magazine.
Nice.
What year?
I thought you were going to ask what magazines were.
No. I'm the young one. Who was on that year that you should have been on?
There was a guy that I remember, curly hair, and he was a visual merchandiser, and a girl with blonde hair.
Okay. What sort of year-ish? What sort of year are we talking here?
We're going back to
I'm getting
maybe
good
like
Yeah.
21.
Okay.
That was like 2 years ago?
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
What are these fucking trick questions for? I dare you.
I check your age, so I can figure this year out.
And then, so that
won't mention it, but I'll figure out the year.
So that was the one that should have happened but didn't.
Yeah,
and then what
I was over. I didn't stop watching Big Brother then, because obviously I'm seeing the people that I was cast with.
Yeah,
that I sat in a room with. Like you actually meet each other before, because you sit down in little groups and you actually like play elimination games and stuff like that. And he got eliminated by my best friend, and I hate in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy with the VM. I hate him now.
Yes!
Right, so where is he?
And then
I remember what you did to me.
In the camera as well. That's serious, man. That is
when someone looks in the
serious.
camera, that is serious.
And then are you then just kind of like on the production company's radar? Is that how the next things happen?
I think so, yeah. Because then I got plugged for X on the Beach, which I wasn't really a fan of.
Okay.
So like they were trying to plug me for with a girl that I dated for a bit, which was just, it was bullshit. It was literally that we dated.
Kissed a couple of times in the club or whatever.
Kissed and held hands and we got a picture together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how deep it was. So I wasn't into anything like that. And then another TV show came about, which was Young, Free and Single, which was fun. It was the first time I've actually been in a process of seeing the filming, behind filming, how the producers treat you, the welfare.
Yeah.
And I met like an amazing girl from it, Laura Carter. She went on to Big Brother, but we dated for a while. But we're sick friends now. Like,
nice.
you know, when you share this experience with someone, like it can never be taken away from you.
Yeah.
So she was a real positive of that. Yeah.
And so when did you've always just like your day to day has been like working in events, like promoting the kind of
venues,
the kind of stuff that like you understand and we all understand as DJs and all that kind of stuff. And then you were just dabbling in and out of TV as it kind of came along.
Yeah, like I don't even think I dabbled in TV.
Okay, TV
like,
dabbled in you.
It dabbled in me. Like I've never applied for anything. It's always come to me. And so would I have done TV if it never came to me? Probably not.
That's so interesting, isn't it?
I was going to say, how did it affect, obviously, the work that you were doing within the clubs and stuff like that? So when you were coming off, so Young, Free and Single, you came off that. Was there a difference in you and how people received you at the clubs?
It's sort of like you become like slightly little famous in your community. Like saying it's big famous. I'm just talking. It's.
No, you're right.
It's. I hate the word famous.
But you'd have been seriously well known in that community anyway.
I was kind of like, you become famous in your little. Birmingham's not a little town, but maybe
that,
famous
like,
for the
clique.
wrong things.
Yeah.
Just being a clubby and druggy.
Yeah.
Not a druggy. Sorry. I didn't say that. That did not come out of my mouth. But like just being on the party scene.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was more that you were known.
Yeah.
Like, I hate people that say they're famous. It's kind of gross, isn't it?
No, but you become like, and the thing that people would say is that you become a face, don't you, on the scene? Like you've been in the nightclubs, you've been a dancer, you've been a DJ, you've been a promoter. You know what I mean? And you just get, and then if you're doing it for like 10 years, then you're just well known because
and then
you're.
people come to you for like everyone goes. There's a venue launching. Oh, Nathaniel, let's get him on that, or he can bring the right people down.
Yeah.
Or know the right people to be a part of a launch. Yeah.
So when then is the move to Manchester?
So, like, I did lots. Like, I travelled around the world for a while. Like, I lived in China.
Wow.
I lived in Portugal. I lived in Spain. I lived in Bulgaria. I lived in...
Why China?
I was a model in China and a singer.
Amazing.
I had to, like, sing Chinese songs.
You're joking.
No, like,
Can you sing a little bit of Chinese?
You know you're going to get
I
asked
feel
to
like
now.
I've not sang for, like, nearly, like, 7... I'm going to tell my age again. Nearly, like...
7 months.
A couple of months.
Yeah, so there was one song. I feel like if I'm going to sing it now and everyone's going to go, that ain't fucking Chinese.
Can you speak? Is it Mandarin, right?
Yeah, I learned it, so I learned to get along. So it was more the fact I could understand after a while. After being there for like a year and a bit, it was just under 2 years.
Please tell me you were in like a Chinese boy band.
Just me. And I had dancers.
So this is a good question.
You had dancers.
Yeah, I had to. They used to make me sing like. What was that rapper called? You're way too beautiful, girl.
Sean Kingston.
Sean Kingston.
You're in Dean's wheelhouse now.
I love Sean Kingston.
For Dean Saunders.
Sean Kingston.
What we thinking? Daniel and Sean Kingston back to back next year at LooseCast.
Really?
Love it. So before you do it, and I'm ready for it because you've got to do the look down the camera.
no.
And we're getting a LooseCast exclusive.
Well, we got some rapping off
We
Murphy's.
did. Murphy's Law did rapping, so you know the natural progression is
Singing.
Chinese.
Singing in Mandarin.
Everyone's going to go, that's not Chinese now. That's the worst thing. I've been proudly pronouncing these words for years.
I mean, everyone
We've got a huge audience in China, so prepare.
Everyone who's watching me think that, as Felix said before, will believe anything. I still firmly believe you went to uni at Manchester. I mean, I believe my own lies. I got a degree. I do have a degree, for the record. I do. But what I was going to ask there, so did you answer, can you actually speak Chinese? Or is it more, can you sing it? Because the reason I asked that is when you're on holiday, you do hear English songs wherever you go, don't you? So I feel like a lot of people learn English songs
from friends,
but without even knowing English as much. So is that the same thing?
No, because
so shall we just wipe that question? Thanks.
Everything you said then was just bullshit.
I'm going to drink me water. Nice.
No, it's more the fact that there's meanings of the song. So how they would teach me these words, and I'd have a teacher, and she would just say a word, and I'd go, well, that sounds like bread. And then she'd say another word. I'd go, oh, well, that sounds like duck. So I'd be like, duck bread.
Did you move to China and then this happened? Or did you apply for something? Or did someone approach you in the States? Like, you know what I mean?
It started off as obviously after Money Pennies, they were like, there's a dancing and sort of acting job out there. And they were like, can you sing? Can you dance? Can you model? I was like, I can do everything. So it was
triple threat,
worldwide entertainment company took me out there.
Nice.
When we got out there, the actual club, it was called POP in Wenzhou, burnt down the second day we got there. No joke. So obviously we're like, we haven't got a job. Half the team went back to where they came from. That sounds really bad. Come back to where that came from. No, they came back to where they came from. No, I said it again.
They went home.
They went home. They went home. This is a real racist podcast.
It's taken a few turns, not going to lie.
Yeah, so they went back home. But I stayed there, and obviously they were getting me contracts everywhere. So it was like
amazing.
Started modelling. There was like a Playboy's big out there,
right?
But it's like Playboy the brand. So I was doing lots of fashion shows for underwear and swimwear. And then they were like, "Can you DJ? Can you sing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll
do anything, mate.
I'll do anything for the money." I mean, anything. I'm not joking that as well. Like, there's this thing where when you're performing, they give you flowers. So you put the flower on, and then everyone's in booth. So then this group would give you more flowers, and there'll be rivals. So they would give you 2 flowers. Wow. So at the end, I'm looking like something from Hawaii all around me, and then you go to the table and you drink with them later.
Yeah.
It's a bit like prostitution, isn't it? Like, it felt nice. So you'd go there and sit and chat with them. But then this one day, this woman, she was obviously head of some kind of mafia. She was like, my agent came up to me, she wants to have sex with you.
Wow.
In the private room upstairs. I was like, how much? I was like, no. And I think she offered me like 100. It was like, it worked out to about 10k in pounds.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm rich. Wow. I didn't do it, unfortunately.
Can I ask a question to you, Anth?
Would you for 10 grand?
Well, yeah, first of all, that would you have...
She had crinkly hair and no teeth.
To be so many jokes, but I'm not going to go there.
10 grand for 45 seconds of my time.
See, I'm a slow burner.
Could have been there for hours, maybe.
Days.
By the way, it's 40 seconds of just non-stop crying from my end. So.
Well, my question was going to be, do you feel like this conversation's steered too far away from the singing? Because I still want to hear the singing. I feel like...
You sang before. Give us some Sean Kings.
I feel like I want to hear a good 10 seconds. A good 10 seconds. Come on.
You can get that on the Patreon.
Is that you? No. Gosh, you're embarrassing me now, bro.
I want to hear it. I'm genuinely impressed.
And the king that jingle know your name so by the bay full kaiser chair.
And that's enough.
That's quality. That is
excellent. So I am actually going red, guys.
That was amazing.
Duck bread, ice cream.
Have you done stuff here though? Have you done singing? Have you been in studios and recorded
I've done stuff with like some producers. Obviously, do not Google my name and do not find it and make me embarrassed.
You know Loz? You know Chris Lorenzo?
I've done stuff with Chris Lorenzo. Yeah, and like I've done stuff with like
Schmitzer.
With Smitzy.
Yeah.
So I used to work with Danny Kane.
Yeah.
So Danny Kane and Mark Spence.
Nice.
We used to do always. I used to drop vocals because I just wanted to be a pop star. As a kid. I was like, come on. So I'd bully them to go in the studio. I'd just sing some shit, come back and there's a produced whole track of me.
Nice.
I did that.
So have you on any dance records or anything? Have you got anything that was like released that we could go and stick a link to below this thing that people could listen to?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a lie.
No. Well, tell you the truth, walking into Pasha and Danny came playing our song was probably one of the biggest.
No way.
Like, made the goosebumps. You walk in, you're like, this is me.
Yeah.
And then all my friends are staring at me, and obviously I wasn't very cohesive. I think I'd be performing it to them.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Right, well, let's hit up a bit of Married at First Sight UK.
What?
Huge.
You promised we wouldn't talk about this.
Huge. We've got you here now. The cameras are on. Huge E4 show.
I hope you didn't promise him that, by the way. I've stayed up till 6:30 learning I can quote
Watching
everything.
me, you perv.
I know, I can quote everything you said word for word.
So we know from previous answers that you were approached to go on the show. How, of the people that you were aware of on this season, what is the balance of approach and application, do you think, roughly?
I think probably application about 4.
Literally 3 or 4 people, and the rest have all been approached one way or another.
Yeah, and
through.
I know that some people were approached for different shows before,
Yeah.
which they didn't get onto because they're not good.
And then they're in the system.
And then and then obviously they're chewed up for something else, that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
My question, which I think everyone watching the show knows the answer to, but if I don't ask it, my Mrs. Jo will be devastated.
Okay.
The marriages aren't legally binding, are they?
No.
No.
It's an experiment.
Right.
Yeah. Like, do you think I'd get married to someone?
You haven't met
My
before.
shit.
Right, so come on then. You were up till 6:30. Hit me with some of your MAFS.
Without the phone. But
Yeah. Oh no, he's got to read off the phone. Do you want me to ask another one while you
He
get it
normally
going?
just pretends he's reading from the phone anyway, so...
I am reading from the phone.
Yeah, everybody can see that, right?
black screen.
I did it last time because we had to re-record something. But by this point, I'd already mastered the question, so I was just doing it. But I tried to stay in character by reading it. But obviously, there was nothing on. So he's looking at me in the side. He's like,
Yeah.
So,
Just Black Mirror. Yeah.
To be fair, at that point, I was just giving myself a staring contest, and he was like, "Look at what you're doing." So, do you want the good question or the bad question? Because I was writing questions as I was going along, and it started off not as good.
Whatever you want,
I
mate.
mean, it started off not as impressive. It was the first question I wrote.
every question is valid.
No, you haven't heard it yet. The first question. Hold on, I'm just doing this for the banter because this wasn't a serious question. The first one was because the first bit we were introduced. You obviously do the vows, and I was saying, in the vows, you say that you're a really good cook. Anth over here is a chef, so it was, what is your favourite dish? Nothing to do with the show at all. It was just the first question.
Thank you for this question.
I'm going to repackage that question. If you were trying to impress someone on a date, what sort of meal do you think you would cook that person
Journalist.
to
Love
impress
it.
them?
I'd probably
He's good
cook something I'd do Japanese stuff. So maybe some bao buns. I like picky stuff, so something too formal, so we can sit down.
Asian
and chat.
tapas.
Yeah.
So the next time we get you back to Newcastle and we get you on the pod again a second time, I think we should have that cook for us.
Cook
what you just said there.
Bao buns.
You make some phenomenal bao buns, I think. That's my prediction.
What are you after, apart from bao buns?
Bao buns.
I mean, wants me to come all the way from Manchester with the bao buns.
But he's also going to get bao buns
at 6:30 in the morning for you.
and give you.
I was in Ibiza recently.
Yeah.
There's a hippie market up. I can't remember the name of the place, but there's a hippie market up there, and they had this place doing this little cart doing bao buns in the middle of this hippie market. They were incredible. So if you
Is
do,
that the hippie market in Escana?
I think that's exactly the one, yeah. And they were incredible. There was this place doing bao buns, and then there was a little place doing tacos. They were honestly the best bao buns and tacos I've ever had. So
Because
I
you
hope you're
haven't
hearing
had any
this
of
for
theirs
next year,
yet.
guys, because the season is nearly over.
get on a Ryanair flight now.
Get these bao buns.
So have you got a good question?
Yeah, I'll do it after yours.
All right, okay.
That was a brilliant question.
I think so what did you, how does it work? Did you have some things, did you ask for things in a partner? How does that stage of it work?
Okay, so you have, they're called deal breakers.
Okay.
That if you tick these, they cannot.
Red lines.
Red lines straight
Yeah.
away. Obviously, except for my case.
Which they didn't adhere to.
Trickery.
So what were some of yours? Just give us
Channel 4. And you, who you know I'm talking about.
So give us a couple of your red lines.
Liar.
Give us a couple of your red lines that you did note down.
I asked for someone that didn't smoke.
Yeah.
I asked for someone that had their own like shit together. Like I want someone with their own house, like myself. You know what I mean? That's someone that can add to me, not sort of take away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone loves to take away, don't
You
they?
sound like Ed Sheeran albums there.
Everyone loves
You want to multiply, not subtract.
Do it again, but in Chinese.
And I think
So if you had to go back to the season that you are on now, start it all again, knowing what you know, who would you have liked to be paired with?
None of them.
Hey, honesty's the best policy.
None of them. Like, I would. No, you know what?
Good answer.
I don't see anyone there who would initiate that feeling inside me. That's honest. Like, I think some of them are amazing. I think some of them are cunts. But I think most of them are okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's nice. So, yeah, what are you going to go for?
So obviously, as I was
Yeah, don't
watching
use
it, this is a good question, this one. So obviously, as we're going along, obviously, continue fast forwarding it, get to the next bit that you're on, and it's the honeymoon. So obviously, on the honeymoon, how actually long have you known each other by the time you're doing the honeymoon episode?
So as soon as we finished filming,
Yeah.
we had 5 hours sleep in a hotel that was probably about 2.5 hours away from the honeymoon.
Yeah.
And then we were on the airplane. We had to sleep and we were on the airplane by 8 o'clock.
Can you sit together on the airplane?
So we did sit together on the airplane.
It's a long flight, like.
Oh, it was a very long flight.
Yeah.
Very, very long. Very long.
Did they put you in?
cold as
They
well,
put you in
because
first class or business class?
No. It was
it
just
You're in
normal.
economy.
Yeah. We're in economy. Knees under my elbows.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Like a T-Rex eating you.
Yeah, and obviously Ella did not bring. She's there trying to show off in her bikini and like, sports bra, no coat, so it's freezing. I have to give all my stuff to. So I'm sitting there with 6 blankets over me, just as they're like lying there. It was freezing.
And it was Mexico, wasn't it?
It was Mexico.
So how
yeah.
long's that flight?
I didn't
8
see
hours, did you
Mexico.
You didn't see it?
I was too busy in my hotel room playing.
Really?
Like we fell out from like out of the 7 days we were there.
You're there for 7 days.
Oh, yeah, so, and that's what I'm trying to say. That the stuff that you saw, I was like, you saw because no one else has seen it, and your missus. It was like we did so much other stuff. We did like salsa dancing. We did going for meals. But you don't actually see any of that.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions as well. How hard is it for you as like a person, knowing that there's so much that's actually happened, but you're only, 20-30 minutes, would you say, an episode of yourself on? Like, how hard is it to like watch that episode knowing that there's like so many amazing bits you'll have done that aren't aired? I think that's the same with any show, not just this show, but like, how hard is that? Because obviously any of the shows that you talked about that you've done previously, you'll always record way more than goes on.
Sometimes you're really gutted. Like,
Yeah.
I walked on into the Geordie Shore house.
Yeah.
And I necked on with some other people.
Yeah.
But they only wanted to push me and Nathan. And it was
Right.
like, but I snuck Bethan.
Yeah.
And I did this with so-and-so. You know what I mean? It was always...
They've got a narrative.
They've got a narrative
Yeah.
and they follow it. So it was a bit weird because, like I said, I'm coming on as pansexual, but I'm only talking to Nathan. I was like, I had conversations with lots of people in that house. So it was a bit... But apart from that...
Have you watched any of it back as it airs? Do they send you like stuff in advance, or have you?
No.
We
watch it the same time as you. They give us a call.
Are you watching it?
Well, I haven't, and then I do, and then I'm like, I'm not watching it. I hate the show.
Yeah.
But then
They're so naughty with the editing, like the way they do stuff.
yeah.
Like I can, because obviously I edit this, so I can pick out the audio edits. I can pick out the shots when like the person's not saying what, you know what I mean? It looks like they're talking and they're not saying what's going on. And they're also really naughty with like reaction shots. So like something will happen at a dinner party and they show all these people have gone, and you're like, that's clearly not happening right now. That's just picking out reaction shots and stuff that's not happening.
everyone, could you look to the right and
Yeah.
be shocked? Can you look to the left and be shocked? Everyone look straight forward and concentrate. Yeah, come on, guys.
Oh, yeah. And has that been the same for every show that you've done? That the first time you ever saw it was when it was like aired to everyone.
Yeah, so
you never get centered on any of them.
I've never seen anything
No.
before. If there is a hard day or a hard episode coming up, Welfare do contact you, but they don't contact me because I'm not in contact with any of them.
Do you Like, what's the jeopardy of staying on the show? So, like, I don't mean specifically for you, but you feel free to answer it from that perspective. But, like, I've watched them before, and you're just there going... I remember watching the first time I watched it with Joe, like, years ago, the Australian one, and I was so shocked that if one person wanted to stay, the other person had to stay. And I was like, that feels like kidnap on some sort of level. I was like, surely if one person wants to leave, they should be able to leave. Now, clearly...
It also brings drama, though.
I mean, clearly you can leave whenever you want. Like, I mean, what I mean by that is like, clearly you're not... Yeah, you can leave whenever you want, and it's happened on other series. What do you think is the jeopardy? Why do other people stay in there? Like, from what you saw when you were there, why are other people so keen to stay when they're just... When it looks like they're miserable or not having a good time, or why are they still there?
It's that a four-letter word, isn't it? Beginning with F, finishing with a E.
I know the answer. Fame.
I thought you were saying fate there.
But it can mean both of them, can't it? Yeah.
Like, I noticed that from the episode today with Portia and the guy that obviously she's getting with. And he's like, fuck this, I'm out. And she's like, literally called him worse than shit for like a solid 5-10 minutes. And then went, but I'm going to stay. It's like, you quite obviously don't want to be with this person. He's saying, fuck this, I'm out. And but because you've said that, you've got to stay. But you're clearly not happy. Like, it's
okay, but imagine you've put your time, your effort, and this is like you've been with someone. Maybe it's been like 10 days, and you kept apart for some of it, and so I feel like you need to give someone time. You know what I mean? Like, I've given this experience, so you've got to do this experiment properly, and that is I'm going to try. Yeah. And if you don't try, what's the point of even being on the experiment? Because obviously, I was given everything that I asked for not. And obviously, I tried to stay as much as I could until you just run out of patience and you run out of joy, man.
Is it the most contrived, produced, like, show that you've been on? Is it the, like, when you talk about narratives
so
and...
sneaky.
Yeah.
Like, you have people called Story, which will whisper in your ear and pull your partner out. Like I've said, like it was already, like I would have amazing conversations with Ella, and then we go to do the ceremony. I won't see her for nearly 6 hours, and then next thing you know, we sat down on a table together, sat down on the couch together. Them 6 hours, she's just been whispered in the ear, changed her mind. So everything that literally we've just spoke about the night before in the morning is out the window.
Right.
So you'll see me just be like, every time I'm sitting there going, are you... doing this for real? Are you really doing this after we have these beautiful conversations? And then, but it just comes with people wanting to go further on the show, and it comes down to the executive coaching. That's what I call it.
Yeah, that's fair. You got any more maths questions?
No, to be honest, like I say, it answers a lot. I did honestly found it really interesting. So obviously for me, it was the first experience of Married at First Sight ever, and obviously no more chatting to you today, just kind of looking at all that. Like I personally thought you came across very, very well.
Thank you.
And like I say, it's so interesting hearing a lot of them, like why you would be frustrated, like in the process, like you would be frustrated if you're having that conversation, and then like I say,
people have been blind. People have only been blinded by the trans issue. So it is just, they're not actually seeing the real words that I'm saying.
I think you've been incredibly supportive. Like,
I have, and she knows that.
Yeah.
Like, but then it's me going, people are watching the show and then listening to, like, all you see is the headline, Nathanial said no to a trans. But read the conversation. I said no because I didn't want to be an experiment for her.
Yeah.
But then it was sort of bullied on me to do it.
I feel like
look, you need to look after her, you need to do it for the community. And it's like...
It's more pressure.
It was a lot of pressure because
than what it is just being like, he has a TV show and this is what it is. Like it's a massive amount.
I had Piers Morgan.
Yeah,
wanted to interview me to talk about actually what happened with the show treating me, but I know that I can't even talk about that to Piers Morgan because the headlines would be Nathanial dates transgender, and then it goes into it'll be Piers Morgan said this, and it would be nothing about the interview when it was just talking about. Yeah. So I just thought I have to sort of knock that on the head.
But I think people get vilified on that show for just not liking the person they're put with anyway, regardless of boy, girl.
Strangers, like
it's and it's like, oh, come on now, you've got to try here, and you're like, I just don't really like them. Yeah. It's like there's nothing wrong with them. We're just not really massively compatible. There's nothing to do with that. Right, I'm going to hit you with some like quick fiery ones.
Sorry, I was going to say as well. Sorry, I know you did ask us, but it was just like even any TV show like that, again, so obviously Married at First Sight, Love Island, or anything like that, I think you always forget that, like, people watching it and people on Twitter and that, they think of the people on it as like characters, like the way you would slag someone off on Coronation Street. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Gail Platt. Do you know what I mean? No Coronation Street reference there from anyone. No, I don't watch it, by the way. I just know who Gail Platt is. But anyway, so like
tumbleweed.
She's sound man. So obviously, I saw you press.
Ghost assistants every Sunday. Gail, you know.
That's at my expense. Shan. But what I was going to say is like they talk as if like it's someone like a character like on a fake show, and obviously it's that hard as well. I guess obviously like say people are like looking and they'll make the comments like you just said they wish people were more spot, but I bet people don't mean it maliciously. They're just commenting like on a TV show that they're watching and thinking of it as like a cast. But obviously it's like you need to step back a second sometimes, don't you, and realise that like these are real people and things as well. But I guess obviously my point is like there's some of the comments that people will always make on any show that it's never as deep as it seems, is it? No. They're just watching it live and like
keyboard warriors and
making the comments.
But it's them sort of digs that sort of chips away at you. That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Like I'm quite hard headed, but even I sort of felt down over the last week. Like it's like people just they're not even reading the article, or they don't even read what's going on. They'll just see a few words and then it's you're this, you're that, you're this. You should be ashamed of yourself, and like shame for what? For telling the truth.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if you stayed on it and done the full experiment, whatever else, done it at the end, but personally being unhappy, then surely that's the complete opposite of what the show's meant to be as well. Like you'd be it'd be worse of a human being to stay in a situation that they're not happy in than to get out of it. So like the fact that people, especially in the media, can throw it the other way, it's ridiculous. Without them even like they know you from a couple of episodes of a TV show and paint the picture of that's what that person is. And it's not fair on anybody at all. So
especially when it isn't real.
Yeah.
And you are getting manipulated. Yes, maybe there won't be a script.
Yeah.
But there's someone there in your ear pushing you and guiding you. You know what I mean? Like taking you down the paths that are wrong for what you wouldn't do to anyone in the real world.
For entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anyone on there that is genuine? Is there anything on there that you think is a genuine connection? And like, you know, like from your time on there, the people that you met, is there anyone in there coupled up now that is a genuine thing that might actually survive the experiment and continue in the real world?
See, I can't mention that because obviously
you can't ruin the endings. Okay.
But what I can say is Thomas and Roz watching their journey is one of them. Like, this is what the show's about.
Yeah,
and that's what I would say.
That's cool.
Yeah. What I find interesting on my first ever viewing of Married at First Sight is like the way that'll differ from other shows. Like again, Love Island, from my understanding of it, they're recorded the whole time and they get like an hour break a day or something. Have I been told before? I don't know if I've got that right.
There's basically you have static cams and different cams, and the static cams would be something like in the corner of these rooms where I'll just be watching you constantly, so they'll be able to have your mic pack on, so they'll be able to similar to Geordie Shore,
right? Yeah,
but then you do have like VTs where you're just talking.
It's
a set up scenario, and then the cameras come in.
Because I remember you said a couple of times there were certain things that you'd said when the cameras weren't there, or you'd talked about when the cameras weren't there versus that. Like, I found that interesting. So is there certain periods where you're not recording at all?
Yeah.
Like at all? Is that different to other shows you've done then?
Yeah, 100%.
Is it? Yeah.
So I would. This experience should be done like that, I reckon.
I was going to turn that there.
Yeah,
sorry.
Just so we can hear your answer.
I think if this show should be, or Married at First Sight should be this, it should be that you filmed 24/7.
Yeah.
And
does that surprise me? Because I thought more shows were.
Yeah, because like, I hate saying this, but there's obviously fake couples in there, and it's. Are you really like? So I was watching it on Tuesday. I don't know what day it was, and it was like watching Towie, and it was like, this is. I'm there like being emotionally towed down, and then I'm watching some people just play Towie. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Have you got any tips for like surviving reality TV? Like, you know, is there anything that you've really learned? I guess you are learning right now as well. Like, have you got any tips for people who might be thinking about going into reality TV?
Why are you looking at me?
People who might be going into it, or people who have been in it.
I'd miss the podcast too much.
I think just think, because it does change your life, and it opens up your doors for people to sort of criticise you, and if you're not strong enough to take it, it's not nice. But then on the opposite side, it can lift you up and be the most amazing thing that can happen to you. Like, this is probably the first time that I've had any negative press on doing any TV show, and I'd probably say this is the first time I was 100% real.
Yeah.
So,
are you keen to do more stuff in the future? I mean, I know it's raw right now, but are you keen? Is there a dream like show that you'd love to go on? Is there something that you like? I would 100% say yes to that at the drop of a hat.
Why I did this last one, MAFS, was just so everyone could actually see me for me and who I am and how I love and the way I am.
Yeah.
And I never got that. So I'd do a show that would just see me being me instead of being a sort of a caricature of myself.
What do you think that could be?
Something where you've got to face your fears and there's no airs and graces. So obviously I'm not a celebrity, but celebrity...
Yeah, go to the jungle. Yeah, that kind
amazing.
of thing. Yeah.
Even like celebrity Big Brother, I think when you're locked in a scenario, I want to see how I'm tested. I want to see my personality, what's good and what's bad. Yeah, these last obviously MAFS hasn't been that for me. Which is shit.
I think it's important at this point, due to being a previous guest, that we just re-point out that Scotty T won Celebrity Big Brother by, what was his words? A fuckload.
Yeah.
He was sat there and he was like, I won it by the most ever.
Yeah.
Let's just point out, right, we're going to do some loose advice, right? We're going to move away from MAFS. Let's do a little bit of loose advice. Anne's got the question. I'm going to play the horrendous jingle, which
remember
you thankfully won't be able to hear. And I'll give you a little tap when we're ready to go.
Loose advice, it's a giggle, don't take it.
It's just a giggle, don't take it to heart.
So loose advice this week. The question is, I don't even know who it's from because I'm not that prepared. But it says, I am going on a blind date, so I've never met that person before. I don't know anything about them, but I have been basically told that they are organising it. So this guy is going to organise the event. Where does he go? What do they do? What would be your suggestion for
we're going to go around everyone here, but if you want to go first.
Date.
Yeah, so blind date. You don't know them, but you are tasked with organising it. Are you going to go like brutally into like down a certain thing? Are you going to try and keep it broad and try and keep it open-ended? What do you think? What would you do? What's your advice to this person?
So I'm more of an actor. I love doing activities, so I'm going to go into what I would like. So
like jumping into a huge hole of water.
Did you watch that? She didn't tell you something. She was there for about an hour to jump in. So my face... And then they filmed it again. She went to go, can we jump in again? So she was there for another hour. I just jumping in 2 minutes ago. Okay. So that's why my face is pissed off.
You're all pruny in that because you've been in there for so long.
I'm like there's fish nibbling at my toes. You know what I mean? There's bats swinging around there. I'm starving. Okay, anyway, what was the question?
So yeah, first date, but it's a blind date, so you've never met them before, but you've been tasked with what you are doing, where you are going.
I think I would like to do something like Go Ape, where I'm pushing people to the limits, like go sit down, have a coffee after. But you know, I want to see people, how they act in uncomfortable scenarios.
Yeah.
But I don't go on dates. I do like mate dates. Mm-hmm. So I'll mate date you first.
Right.
See if you're the kind of person that I would want in my life.
How does a mate date differ from a proper date?
I don't kiss them.
Fair. Fair. That's fair.
Don't give it them.
Right, so what do you think you might do, mate?
See how people react in uncomfortable positions? I'd take them at Waggers and see how they feel when I modify all my food. It's an ongoing joke. When I go to Wagamams, I modify everything. And being a chef, I'm convinced the chefs find it funny and they're like, it's that guy who changed everything. Like,
no, we'd hate you.
See?
Hospitality.
So you're organising a blind date. What are you going to do?
Can I do what I normally do?
Just answer a completely different question.
Answer a different question to what you've asked. So in this spark, I do this every time. I'd like answering my own questions. This sparked a debate before.
Okay.
I was saying, and it's not me. before I get, it's not me. I swear. I've done like an escape room before, right? Mm-hmm. And I was talking to the person at the escape room, and they were explaining a scenario where there's a guy who goes in, right, and he takes girls on
again, it's not him.
No, it actually isn't.
Not him.
I think it's genius. I like credit.
So they can't get out.
That's what I said.
No,
that's exactly what I said.
So a couple of things. Well, no, what you said was they'd already be out by the time I got there because I'm that late. No, so you'd done an escape room before. It's like it's an hour. You know, but like is it?
He's done an escape TV series.
Yes.
He won.
You're only ever there for an hour max. So
it's starting to sound like a sexual saw game. I don't know know what you're into, bro. But
Again, it isn't even me. By the way, just on the record, Adaboo, it's not even me. Like, I swear on my life, it's not me. But what you'd explain was this guy comes in and he'll bring like different girls on a date, and if he likes them, he'll like purposely take ages getting like, oh yeah, what could this be? If he doesn't like them, he's like, right, it's this, and he's out in 10 minutes. And I thought it was quite clever, but also the fact that he's also missing a trick, because if he's strategically planned like a meal or something after, he could look really impressive to that. So I think he probably does a bit of that as well. So he'll like do it and he'll like, oh look, I've just broke the record score, and like, he'll look really intelligent. Again, that genuinely isn't me. That came
So he walks and they're like, hello mate, you're back again, are you?
Well, no, that's what I said. I was like, do you not
got your membership card?
And they were like, they're not allowed to stitch him. They're not allowed to stitch him.
It's a free goal this time.
But I thought I was a bit...
But I find that like terrifying. Like, imagine somebody turn around saying first, oh, do you want to do it in an escape room? So I'm like, I've never met you before. I'm going to come meet you for the first time, and you're going to lock me in a room.
The escape room is my spare room, by the way, in my house.
But I like really get frustrated at stupid people. So this is perfect for me, because I'm like, okay, you're just dumb.
I think my actual...
You have failed the test.
My actual answer...
We're not friends either.
My actual, you've got to have drinks.
This is a hate date, not a mate date.
I feel like you've got to have a couple of drinks, haven't you? Well, you don't have to, but like I do like the idea of a couple of drinks, just to like, everyone's a bit looser. You've had a nice time.
Starting really bad, bro. Is this what you're talking into? Just a few drinks, babes.
Just a few drinks in an escape room.
I'll go to the bar this time.
I think you'd want a couple of drinks. I think that was a new record for the table. My mic started going there as well. When you hear the sound back and my mic's going at it.
Yeah.
Don't blame me.
You put me on the table where we can eat.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
True.
It's insane.
But yeah, I just think a couple of drinks and some food is... I'm going boring.
It's so basic.
Yeah, I am. But it was Waggers with a couple of modifications, so they get a bit of entertainment as well at my expense.
I think I like the activity thing. Like, your pal runs Point Blank in Newcastle. I don't know if there's one in Manchester, but there's like...
My pal.
Yeah, and he's like, basically, it's like... There
is one in Manchester.
So there's like this huge screens, and you get guns, and kind of like, you go in and you have some drinks, and you kind of shoot at targets and stuff. And it's way more... Because the first time I went, I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to be into this. And then I absolutely loved it.
You absolutely slapped me all. That's what it was. Yeah, he absolutely slammed us, mate. I did about 10 times previous. I was like, there's me like flipping the gun around. He walks in the scans. Fuck off. Get to that bar, Anthony.
Neck oils. Am I making this up? In Manchester, is there like a cube like place you can go? You know, like this TV show.
Yeah, we have the cube. Yeah,
and also
it's Crystal Maze.
And then is there also is there an I'm a Celebrity one there, or is that somewhere else? I've seen like that.
I think it could be the same place. That just change.
Right, they change it as
like,
themes.
When one gets broke, the new one comes in. You know,
got you.
Liverpool's got one called Alcatraz, haven't they? Which is like
it's a shopping
prison.
Mall.
No, it's like a prison. So you've basically got to get there, and you've got to sneak your own drink in.
Oh yeah.
So you've got to like hide your drink to take it. And then
Saturday night for me.
Search you down, put you into like prison overalls, and then just hide you in these prison cells, and then they give you like tasks of like how to get out, and then you've got to like basically there's like a mixologist or a cockologist, as I like to call them, that basically come with like different soft drinks. So like you take your spirit, and they'll come with like soft drinks and fruit and stuff. Then you've got to make your own like prison alcohol.
Right, nice.
It looks fucking crackers. But I don't know if it would.
You got any shout out to Manchester? Where do you love going? Like, is there a Japanese place that you like to eat? Is there a
So I'd say my favourite places are I love Six by Nico.
Okay,
it's like you do sort of it's like a 6-ditch dining experience with like drink, really cool. I love Yours.
Heard of that? What's
Yours
that?
Restaurant. It's like a club, sort of turns into a club on a Friday, Saturday night as well. Like,
okay, you've been there, right? You went down when you were on on Ben's stag do or something.
Yeah, Griff stag do was recently. We went there. Had a bit mad one. We did might get wrong off Griff for this, but for his stag do, we did a Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder.
Like an ultimate.
Imagine that for a first date.
Bring your some of the course names on that were hilarious. It was
but it was so
the Flaming Ring.
It was so anticlimactic.
The Lawnmower of Death. And it's just like somebody with a hairdryer.
No, it was like I was showing them it before, and honestly, like I was actually, do you know, like when you if you ever do something for the first time, you get like proper butterfly. I got like proper butterflies before I started. I was a little bit nervous because the very first thing was Heartbreak Hill.
First one was called the Ankle Breaker.
No, oh God, PTSD. But no, the first one was Heartbreak Hill, and I was like, that's not starting great. Like, and literally Heartbreak Hill is like,
it breaks your heart.
no, how boring it was. It was literally like you just ran up the smallest hill ever. It was
like
so
a speed bump.
Mate, pretty much. It
I
was
bet
so
you weren't
anticlimactic.
complaining when you got to the end that your heartbreaker didn't break you.
Well, no, to be fair, it was just the early ones that were bad, but like as it goes on, it actually is bad. But yeah, my heart was in place, everything was in, my ankle was in place as well. Ankle was intact because I was a bit nervous of that. I did do the extra sock on my ankle though.
Extra sock. I want to rock out a couple of would you rathers. This is going to bring us home. So we need answers from everyone.
It's flown by, isn't it?
Would you rather go on a double date with your ex and their current partner or your mum and dad? I know what he'll say.
What will I say?
I reckon you want to go out with Sue and Steve.
Nah, they'll embarrass us. I'm friends with all my exes.
So you'd want to go on a double date with your current person of choice and your ex and their current partner.
I don't have a current person, but if I had a current person and my ex had a current person,
You'd be up for it. You'd go to escape rooms together.
a one that I'd already done.
So you look like the better one then.
What are you saying?
Yeah. Yeah, go with the ex. I think. I think I've already fucked up one relationship. I'm going to fuck up theirs as well.
What are you saying?
I would go with the ex as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, mainly because I've never spoken a word to my dad in my life, and if I did, I would just...
Well, I was going to say, I think
be at
I'd
the
go with
table.
my mum and dad because they've been divorced for a good 40 years, and that in itself would be fucking hilarious.
By the way, love me mum and dad.
Dad takes your missus.
First time you met him. Imagine that.
Bye.
But I love my mum and dad, but I just think my dad's like purposely cringy. Like purposely cringy at like
I
stitches
reckon
with
your
it.
dad thinks the exact same thing about you.
No, but he's in purposely cringy at like
Give me
stitches.
them t-shirts, all the same.
Would you rather
Yeah.
have to sing a song every time you heard it out loud or have to dance every time a song played out loud? So you've got to sing the song or you've got to dance in public.
What's the song though?
It could be anything, literally anything you ever hear. Do you rather sing it or do you rather dance to it? I'm going to go dance because my singing voice is horrendous.
My dancing's horrendous and my singing's horrendous.
Heart attack or a stroke.
But like, I guess my dancing's horrendous for everyone to have to watch that.
Yeah.
Whereas singing, it mightn't be good for them to hear, but I enjoy singing. So
You can
I'm
sing in
gonna
English, not Mandarin, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not singing.
I do both.
It's not even a would you rather. It's a, I want to.
He's answered the question how he wants to. Love it. I was like,
I do both.
Nice.
I'd sing
What
and
you go
dance
for?
all the way.
I would go with sing, but only if I could pick the song.
Okay.
Because my good friend James Torrand gave me this mint advice the other week that if you ever do karaoke,
Yeah.
do tequila, song tequila.
Oh, you when you shout tequila.
You've just got
Yeah.
to say tequila 5 times and it's fucking hour and done with.
You could have a shot each time you do it. Would you rather have your Spotify history or your Netflix history made public for everyone to be able to see?
Netflix.
very topical.
That's
This
very quick.
Oh, it was the easy answer.
Very topical. This. I've had a few messages since the Murphy's Law podcast
Okay.
from people saying Adam Walker. Shout out Adam Walker, horrible man. Has done it to them as well. So a friend of mine, Adam Walker, right, once randomly messaged, this was mentioned on the last podcast, he once randomly messaged me going, Nickelback, Dean? And I was like, what?
How did you
like,
know?
Because you can view people's Spotify playlists unless you have it private.
You grebo.
But like, how do you know that? Did you know people could do that?
Well, that's why I don't have it.
Well, fair enough. But Adam Walker, he's like self-proclaimed Adam Walker the Stalker. I was like, I like that because that's what it was. But yeah, so I've already had my Spotify checked. So my Netflix isn't bad.
Can I ask you a question? What would your guilty pleasure song be? You know that song that just makes you feel good and you know that it shouldn't. And
Don't Stop Believing, I think, is just the one, like, for Journey. I love it, man. Like, it's good fun. You get, you know, it was on an episode of Family Guy.
Is it Glee?
And what's that?
Isn't that from Glee?
Oh, probably everything's from Glee, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? He sits down in the shower and listens to High School Musical.
When I'm hungover, making it a little less cringy.
That's genuinely
I need to clip that after.
Up in the air. you know what though? That's not my guilty pleasure song. That's my hangover song. I don't know what my guilty pleasure song would be.
Come on. Mine's...
I'm not going to lie, by the way, very topical on Glee. There's a song on Glee years
So he's
ago.
done it to you as well. See,
that I
I
watched-
just didn't answer your question.
I know.
Well, no, I'm
Can
gonna-
you ask your question, please?
Gives
Mark?
You Hell by Glee. That was a great
Gives
song.
You
by them.
Hell?
Yeah, it was a great.
Do you mean by the All American Rejects?
No, by Glee. I was staying
He's
on
not that
brand.
much of a grebo. He doesn't know the bands, mate.
Yeah, what's yours?
Like, it's embarrassing, but it'd probably be like Steps, The Deepest Shade of Blue.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Dude,
Nice. What are you going for?
Banger.
I think mine would probably be some T Swifty, like a bit of Taylor Swift.
Really? Which one?
Yeah, I don't know what Taylor Swift is. Just
never, ever, ever.
yeah, it's crying in my bathroom, doing a Dean Saunders.
I don't help myself at all, right? But I'm going to ask it. Have you ever heard that Taylor Swift song where she like has the breakup and it's like 13 minutes long?
Isn't that
I mean,
every
that's
song?
every single Taylor Swift song ever.
Carry on talking. I'm going to do
What
my
was
research.
yours?
Oh, Journey, Don't Stop Believing. 100%. 100%.
That
Right,
thing
I'm going
is
to, while he does some Googling, this is the last Would You Rather.
Okay.
Would you rather have bad breath or smelly feet forever and ever and
easy.
ever?
Smelly feet.
Smelly feet.
Imagine people coming up to your mouth. You'd smell, you smell your own mouth, wouldn't you? Horrible.
Dean, what you going for?
I'd have neither.
Gingivitis.
He'd have neither.
I'm really hygienic, thanks very much.
Doesn't
I'd have
understand the
neither,
premise
but
of the game.
Yeah.
You'd definitely...
It's obviously his feet, isn't it? Look at his
you'd have to
lashes.
go feet, wouldn't you? So,
He's from Chester Street. He's got 6 toes anyway.
Chester's not a bad place at all. So, the Taylor Swift song is All Too Well, 10-minute version. So it was released on November the 12th. Red,
Still playing now.
Taylor's version is Swift's 10th #1 debut, and a 10-minute update of All Too Well also became the longest song to appear on the Hot 100. There you go,
Peace out, all the
little
Swifties.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Fact for you.
Right, well, thank you so much for coming, mate. It's been an absolute battle. Keep watching MAFS UK. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Fast
lads,
forward through
thanks
the
for
rest.
having me,
That's what I
man.
was-
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been class.
And yeah, all our girlfriends are suitably happy that we've spoken to you. And
Again, I don't have a
tell
girlfriend.
them-
Why have I
yeah,
broken
tell them-
having a girlfriend?
Tell them that I'm a groom without a wife, so...
and on that note.